Dr. Maya Patel stood frozen before her quantum resonance scanner at the Himalayan Deep Space Observatory, her breath creating small clouds in the cold mountain air. The signal pulsing across her display defied everything she understood about physics. It wasn't just complex, it was impossible. "Director Chen," she called, her voice steady despite her trembling hands. "You need to see this." The observatory's director, Dr. James Chen, appeared at her station moments later. His eyes widened as he studied the readings. The signal originated from somewhere beyond the Kuiper Belt, but its structure suggested an intelligence far beyond human comprehension. "It's not random noise," Maya explained, pulling up the pattern analysis. "These are mathematical constants, universal ones. Whoever sent this wanted to make absolutely certain we'd understand what follows." As they watched, the signal shifted, resolving itself into clear, precise English. "Your star will die. We can help. Choose quickly." Within hours, observatories worldwide confirmed both the signal and a horrifying truth behind it. Their sun was experiencing unprecedented quantum fluctuations at its core, fluctuations that would trigger a premature nova within days. Humanity faced extinction, not with a whimper, but with the roar of their own star betraying them. The choice was made amid global panic. Humanity would accept the mysterious offer of help, broadcasting their response on every frequency they could manage. "We choose to live. Help us." The response came not through signals, but through reality itself. Space folded above Earth's atmosphere, and through that impossible fold emerged a vessel that defied description. It was like watching a cathedral made of living crystal and light emerge from beneath the surface of a cosmic ocean. The vessel's occupants called themselves the architects. They appeared as shifting patterns of light and geometry, communicating through perfectly translated thoughts that reached every human mind simultaneously. "We are the last of those who shaped stars," they explained. "We have watched your species grow, seen your potential. What we offer comes at great cost, to us, not you. Our quantum core, the last of its kind, can stabilize your sun. Using it means we cannot return home. We choose this freely." Before Earth's governments could even formulate a response, the architect vessel moved into position between Earth and its sun. The ship's crystalline structure began to pulse with energies that human instruments couldn't even measure. In that moment, Maya understood. They weren't just stabilizing the sun, they were restructuring space-time itself around it. The process took 3 days. For 72 hours, humanity watched as their star was rewritten at the quantum level, its very nature altered to prevent the impending nova. When it was done, the architect vessel had changed. Its crystalline surface had grown dim, its once brilliant geometries now faded and still. "The work is complete," came their final transmission. "Your star will now burn true for millions of years. We give you this gift, asking only that you remember. Remember that the universe is vast and full of wonders, but also dangers. Remember that sacrifice for the sake of potential is the highest form of wisdom. And remember us, the architects, who chose to help rather than simply watch." The vessel disappeared as mysteriously as it had arrived, leaving behind only fragments of its crystalline hull that fell like tears through Earth's atmosphere. These fragments, when recovered, proved to be more than mere debris. Each one contained technological insights that would revolutionize human understanding of physics, engineering, and the nature of reality itself. Maya spent the next 5 years studying those fragments, leading the global research initiative to understand the architect's gift. Each discovery led to another breakthrough, another leap forward in human capability. But she never forgot the price of their survival. An ancient species giving up their last way home to save a younger race they barely knew. "We owe them everything," she would often tell her colleagues. "Not just our lives, but our understanding of what life can mean. They showed us that true advancement isn't just about technology. It's about the wisdom to use it for something greater than ourselves." As humanity began to reach for the stars with their newfound knowledge, they carried with them an unshakable sense of debt and purpose. The architects had sacrificed their way home to save Earth. Now, humanity would make it their mission to find the architects' home, to repay that debt, no matter the cost. They didn't know then that this quest would lead them into conflict with forces that had haunted the galaxy since stars were young, or that humanity's determination to repay their debt would change the course of cosmic history. They didn't know that the architect's gift would prove to be more than technology. It would be the key to humanity's role in a galaxy desperately in need of hope. All they knew was that they owed a debt, and humans always pay their debts. 20 years after the architect's sacrifice, humanity had transformed. Cities of crystalline towers reached toward the stars. Quantum drives powered ships between the planets, and the first interstellar colonies were taking root in nearby systems. But for Dr. Maya Patel, now director of the Interstellar Search Initiative, none of it meant anything without finding the architects. The ISS Remembrance hung in high orbit above Europa, its quantum sensors probing the depths of space. Maya stood on the observation deck, her once dark hair now streaked with silver, watching the data streams flow across the holographic displays. 2 decades of searching had yielded nothing but fragments of evidence. Until today. Director, Lieutenant Sarah Martinez called from her station. We're picking up quantum resonance patterns matching the architect vessel's signature. But there's something wrong with them. Maya moved to Sarah's console, her artificial leg, a testament to years spent exploring dangerous ruins, making a soft whirring sound as she walked. The patterns were familiar. She'd spent half her life studying them, but they were distorted, like a scream encoded in mathematics. Plot the source, Maya ordered, her throat tight. As the coordinates appeared, her heart sank. The signal originated from a system 40 light-years distant, far beyond their current exploration range. But that wasn't what troubled her most. The signal was fragmented, broken, the quantum equivalent of a distress call. Captain David Okonjo entered the bridge, his dark features illuminated by the holographic star charts. Security Council's online. They're waiting for your report. Maya nodded, squaring her shoulders as the quantum comm system activated. The faces of Earth's leaders appeared before her, along with representatives from the Mars and Europa colonies. She didn't waste time with pleasantries. "We found them," she announced. "But they're not alone. Something is hunting them." The data painted a chilling picture. The architect's quantum signatures were being systematically erased from the galaxy, system by system. Whatever was responsible left behind only empty worlds and dead stars, their quantum properties somehow fundamentally altered. "We're detecting entities we're calling harvesters," Maya continued. "They appear to be artificial constructs of immense size and complexity. They don't just destroy civilizations. They consume their technological achievements, absorbing their knowledge and capabilities into themselves." The council chambers erupted in debate. Some argued for caution, for building defenses against this new threat. Others insisted humanity wasn't ready for a conflict on this scale. Maya silenced them all with a single question. 20 years ago, the architects gave up everything to save us. They sacrificed their last way home because they believed in our potential. Are we going to prove them wrong? The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, Council President Chen, James Chen's daughter, spoke. "What do you propose, Director?" Maya gestured, and a new hologram appeared. Schematics for a weapon unlike anything humanity had ever conceived. Using the architect's quantum core fragments, we've learned to do more than just copy their technology. We've learned to innovate, to push their concepts in directions they never imagined. The harvesters consume technology, yes, but what happens when that technology fights back? The design was audacious. By combining multiple quantum cores and linking them through a new type of space that Maya's team had discovered, they could create a weapon that would turn the harvesters' own absorption abilities against them. The more they tried to consume, the more destructive the reaction would become. "It's not without risk," Maya admitted. "We'll be operating on the edges of physics we barely understand. But the architects took a chance on us when we were nothing but primitive beings huddling around a dying star. They gave us the keys to the cosmos. Now it's our turn to prove that their faith wasn't misplaced. The council deliberated for 3 hours. In the end, the vote was unanimous. Operation Quantum Shield would begin immediately. Every shipyard in the solar system would be converted to produce vessels equipped with the new weapon system. Every quantum core fragment would be utilized. Humanity would bring its full industrial and technological might to bear. As the council session ended, Sarah approached Maya's position by the star chart. The nearest harvester cluster is moving toward the source of the architect's signals, she reported. At their current pace, they'll reach them in 8 months. Maya studied the projection, her augmented eyes calculating distances and trajectories. Then we have 7 months to build a fleet, train our crews, and prepare for a battle unlike anything in human history. She smiled grimly. The harvesters think they're hunting wounded prey. They're about to discover that they've actually been driving the architects right to their most dangerous allies. As Maya walked through the ship's corridors later that night, she passed the central memorial, a crystalline shard from the original architect vessel, mounted in a place of honor. She paused, touching its cool surface gently. "You believed in us," she whispered. "You saw something in humanity worth sacrificing everything for. Now the galaxy's going to see what you saw. And the harvesters. They're going to learn why you don't threaten the people humanity considers friends." The quantum core fragment pulsed softly in response, its light a promise of battles to come and debts finally repaid. The orbital shipyards above Mars blazed with constant activity, their crystalline construction arms weaving quantum-enhanced hulls into existence. In her temporary office overlooking the yards, Maya watched as another vessel took shape, the 73rd in humanity's new defensive fleet. But it wasn't the ships that occupied her thoughts. It was the messages from their long-range probes. "The harvesters have accelerated their advance," Sarah Martinez reported, now promoted to commander and Maya's chief of operations. "They're adapting faster than we anticipated. Each civilization they consume adds to their capabilities." Maya studied the holographic display showing the harvesters' path of destruction. 15 systems in the past month alone, each one stripped of its technological achievements, their quantum signatures erased as thoroughly as footprints in a sandstorm. "Show me the latest analysis of their absorption patterns," Maya requested. The display shifted, revealing complex mathematical models of how the harvesters processed their stolen technology. Sarah had become an expert in their behavior, leading the team that tracked and analyzed their movements. "There's a pattern here," Sarah noted, highlighting a particular sequence. "They don't just consume technology randomly. They're selective, methodical. Each absorption makes them more efficient at their next target. They're learning." "Then we'll have to learn faster," Maya responded, bringing up the schematics for their quantum shield technology. "Captain Okonjo, how are the weapon trials progressing?" David Okonjo's hologram appeared, his uniform bearing the new insignia of Fleet Admiral. "The initial tests exceeded expectations. When we channel power through the linked quantum cores, it creates a cascading effect that should overwhelm their absorption capabilities. But Maya, there's a cost." She knew what he meant. Each test had pushed their understanding of physics to its limits. The energy released was incredible, but it put immense strain on both the ships and their crews. They were playing with forces that could tear reality itself apart if mishandled. "We don't have a choice," Maya said quietly. "The architects gave up everything to save us. We owe them the same commitment." The next few months passed in a blur of preparation and innovation. Humanity had always been adaptable, but now they were pushing that trait to its absolute limit. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, refining the quantum shield technology. Military strategists studied every scrap of data on harvester behavior, developing tactics to counter their abilities. But perhaps most remarkable was how humanity had united behind this cause. The debt they owed to the architects had become part of their collective identity. Every schoolchild knew the story of the crystalline ship that had saved Earth. Every colony, every settlement, displayed fragments of the original vessel as reminders of why they reached for the stars. Maya stood in the command center of the ISS Architect's Promise, the fleet's flagship, watching as the last of the defense ships took their positions. 300 vessels, each carrying a piece of the original quantum core, each crewed by volunteers who understood they might not return. All ships report ready, Sarah announced from her station. Quantum shields are calibrated and synchronized. The fleet is yours, Director. Maya took a moment to look at her crew. Humans from every corner of Earth and its colonies, united in purpose. 20 years ago, she began, her voice carrying to every ship in the fleet. A species we had never met chose to save us from extinction. They didn't know us. They had no reason to believe we would ever be able to repay their sacrifice. They acted purely on the belief that we had potential. She paused, watching the quantum core fragments pulse in unison throughout the fleet. Today, we prove they were right. The harvesters think they're the apex predators of the galaxy, consuming civilizations at will. They've never encountered a species that could fight back. They've never met humanity. The fleet's quantum drives engaged, preparing for the jump that would take them to the battlefield. The architects showed us mercy when we needed it most, Maya continued. They showed us that the greatest power in the universe isn't the ability to destroy or consume. It's the choice to help others, to sacrifice for something greater than ourselves. Her artificial eyes scanned the tactical displays one last time. The harvesters were closing in on the last known position of the architect's signals. Everything was in place. Humanity has never forgotten its debts, Maya declared. And we never will. All ships, prepare for quantum jump. Operation Quantum Shield begins now. As the fleet vanished into the quantum realm, Maya touched the crystalline shard she always carried, a piece of the original architect vessel. In its faceted surface, she saw not just the reflection of stars, but the promise of a future where no civilization would face the darkness alone. The harvesters were about to learn that their reign of terror was over. Humanity was coming, not just with advanced technology, but with something far more powerful, an unshakable determination to repay a debt, to protect those who had protected them, and to prove that the architect's faith in human potential had not been misplaced. The human fleet emerged from quantum space into a scene of cosmic horror. The harvesters loomed before them, vast geometric shapes of impossible darkness that seemed to devour the very starlight around them. They were surrounding a small cluster of worlds that glowed with the unmistakable crystalline signature of architect technology. Multiple harvester constructs detected, Sarah reported, her voice steady despite the terror-inducing sight, counting 15 primary units and dozens of smaller ones. They're already beginning their absorption process on the outer planets. Maya stood at the command center of the architect's promise, her artificial eyes processing the tactical data. The harvesters were even more formidable than their probes had suggested. Each one was the size of a small moon, their surfaces rippling with stolen technologies from countless civilizations. All ships maintain quantum shield synchronization. Admiral Okonjo ordered, "Remember your training. These things have never faced a united human fleet before." The harvesters noticed them immediately. Their massive forms turned with impossible grace, energy patterns shifting across their surfaces as they assessed this new threat. A transmission reached the fleet, its nature unlike anything they had encountered before, pure mathematical concepts twisted into something like language. "Your technology is known," the message stated. "Architect-derived. Primitive implementation. You will be consumed. Your potential will serve the pattern." Maya smiled grimly. "Show them our primitive implementation. Execute pattern sunbreak." The human fleet split into precisely choreographed groups, each squadron moving in formations that seemed random but were the result of months of quantum calculations. The harvesters responded predictably, extending their absorption fields to capture what they perceived as easy prey. "They're taking the bait," Sarah announced. "Absorption fields at maximum extension." "Now," Maya ordered. Activate quantum shields. 300 quantum cores activated simultaneously, each one linked to the others through the new physics humanity had discovered. The shields didn't try to block the harvester's absorption fields. They embraced them, channeled them, and turned them back on themselves. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. The harvester's own absorption abilities became a weapon against them, creating a feedback loop of escalating energy. The smaller constructs began to break apart first, their stolen technologies unable to handle the cascading overload. But the larger harvesters adapted quickly. Their surfaces shifted, attempting to redirect the energy. They launched counterattacks, beams of concentrated technological energy that could strip a planet bare. Evasive maneuvers, Okonjo shouted. Pattern starburst. The human fleet scattered in pre-planned trajectories, their quantum shields flaring as they deflected the harvester attacks. Years of studying architect technology had taught humanity one crucial lesson. The most powerful forces in the universe weren't about destruction, but about harmony and resonance. Second phase, Maya commanded. Execute pattern resonance. The fleet reformed into a new configuration, their quantum shields synchronizing at an even deeper level. The energy they channeled didn't fight against the harvester's absorption fields. It matched them, amplified them, pushed them beyond their designed limits. The effect was like watching stars being born in reverse. The largest harvesters began to collapse in on themselves, their own stolen technologies becoming their undoing. Their perfect geometric forms distorted as the quantum overload reached critical levels. Architect signals are strengthening, Sarah reported excitedly. They're fighting back too. From the crystalline worlds below, new energy patterns emerge. The surviving architects, recognizing what humanity was attempting, added their own technology to the quantum resonance. The combination of human innovation and architect wisdom proved devastating. The harvesters, for the first time in their eons-long existence, found themselves truly outmatched. Their attempts to absorb and adapt only accelerated their destruction. One by one, the massive constructs imploded, their stolen technologies released in spectacular bursts of quantum energy. When the final harvester fell, the silence that followed seemed to echo across space itself. The human fleet, though battered, remained largely intact. Their quantum shields had protected them from the worst of the backlash. All ships report status, Maya ordered, though her eyes were fixed on the crystalline worlds below. The architect signals were growing stronger, more coherent. A new transmission reached them, and Maya's heart soared as she recognized the perfect translation method she hadn't experienced in 20 years. You have survived. You have grown. You have exceeded all potential we glimpsed in you. Maya touched the crystalline shard she carried, feeling it resonate with the voices of its creators. You gave us the keys to the universe, she responded. We've spent 20 years learning how to use them wisely. The architect worlds pulsed with patterns that their sensors interpreted as joy. The pattern hunters have terrorized this galaxy since stars were young, they explained. No species before has had both the wisdom to understand our technology and the courage to use it as you have. The debris of the harvesters drifted in space around them. Their threat ended not by superior firepower, but by humanity's unique combination of innovation, determination, and the ability to turn an enemy's strength against itself. Victory is confirmed, Sarah announced, her voice thick with emotion. The harvesters are destroyed. The architects, they're safe. Maya looked at her crew, at the fleet that had just changed the course of galactic history. No, she corrected gently. The architects aren't just safe, they're home. And this time, we'll make sure they stay that way. 5 years after the Battle of the Architect Worlds, the crystalline spires of New Horizon rose from the surface of Mars, its architecture a stunning blend of human innovation and architect wisdom. The building was more than just the headquarters of the new Galactic Cooperation Initiative. It was a symbol of how far humanity had come, and a promise of where they were going. Maya stood at the observation deck, her artificial eyes now upgraded with architect crystalline technology, watching ships from a dozen different species arrive for the historic summit. Some were organic vessels that looked like living art. Others were structures of light and energy that barely seemed real. Each represented a civilization that had hidden from the harvesters, surviving in secrecy until humanity proved that resistance was possible. "The Centaurian delegation has arrived," Sarah announced, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the emerging galactic community. Time had streaked her dark hair with silver, but her eyes still held the same determination they had during the battle. "They're bringing their complete database of harvester encounters. Should help us track down any remaining fragments." Maya nodded, though her attention was drawn to the most striking structure visible through the window. A massive quantum core, jointly constructed by humans and architects, that powered the entire complex. It was a testament to how their partnership had evolved, moving from debt and gratitude to true collaboration. "Director Patel," a harmonious voice called. Maya turned to see the architect representative, a being of crystalline light who had taken the name Aurora to help humans address them. "The historical records are ready for review." Together, they moved to the central chamber where representatives from across the galaxy had gathered. The room itself was a marvel of combined technology. Human quantum engineering merged with architect crystal tech to create spaces that existed in multiple phases of reality simultaneously. "Let the record show," Maya began, her voice carrying to all present, "that we gather here not just to celebrate victory over the harvesters, but to ensure such threats can never rise again. Each civilization here brings unique wisdom, unique strengths. Together, we are far greater than the sum of our parts." The historical display activated, showing scenes from the past 5 years. The liberation of hidden civilizations, the restoration of worlds the harvesters had stripped bare, the establishment of quantum shield networks to protect developing species. But most importantly, it showed something the galaxy had never seen before: genuine cooperation between vastly different forms of life. "When the architects saved Earth," Maya continued, "they did more than preserve a single species. They created a chain reaction of hope. Humanity's determination to repay that debt led us to develop technologies and strategies the harvesters couldn't counter. But our true strength wasn't in our innovations. It was in our understanding that power means nothing without purpose." Aurora moved forward, their crystalline form pulsing with colors that the assembled beings each perceived according to their own nature. "Humanity proved that evolution isn't just about survival or dominance. It's about choice, about seeing potential in others and choosing to nurture it, even at great cost to oneself." The display shifted to show new projects. Joint human architect research facilities, quantum highways linking distant systems, and defense platforms that combine technologies from multiple species. The galaxy was transforming from a place of fear and isolation to one of connection and shared progress. Sarah stepped up to join them, holding the small crystal, a fragment from the original architect vessel that had saved Earth. 25 years ago, this crystal fell from the sky, a piece of a ship that sacrificed everything to save a species they barely knew. Today, it stands as a reminder that the greatest force in the universe isn't technology, or power, or even knowledge. It's the choice to help others, to believe in potential, to stand together against the darkness. Maya watched as representatives from across the galaxy came forward to sign the Galactic Cooperation Accord. Each signature was unique, some in light, some in crystalline patterns, some in quantum signatures. But each represented the same commitment: to protect, to nurture, to share wisdom rather than hoard it. The harvesters believed that civilization was a zero-sum game, Maya reflected. That progress could only come through consumption and dominance. We proved them wrong. Every species here has unique gifts, unique perspectives. Together, we're building something they could never understand: a future based on cooperation rather than consumption. As the ceremony concluded, Maya stood with Aurora and Sarah, watching the twin suns set behind the Martian mountains. The sky was filled with ships from across the galaxy, their lights creating new constellations. "Was this what you saw in us?" Maya asked Aurora, when your people chose to save Earth. The crystalline being's form shifted, and what Maya had learned was their expression of joy. We saw potential. You showed us possibility. The galaxy needed more than just technology or power to defeat the harvesters. It needed hope. It needed proof that a better way was possible. Sarah smiled, touching the crystal she carried. And now, what do you see for the future? Maya looked out at the gathering darkness, at the lights of 1,000 ships shining like new stars. I see what the architects saw 25 years ago, potential, but not just in humanity now, in all of us working together. The harvesters thought they were the pinnacle of evolution. Instead, they were just the challenge we needed to overcome to become something greater. As night fell on Mars, the quantum core pulsed with shared energy, its light a beacon visible across the solar system. It was more than just a power source. It was a promise to all species, born and yet to be born. In this galaxy, no civilization would ever face the darkness alone again. The legacy of a single act of sacrifice had grown into something that would reshape the cosmos. And somewhere in the vast dance of stars and quantum fire, Maya knew the next chapter of their shared story was just beginning.